is Sports Talk with Playeragent3. My next guest is one of the best basketball players that did not make the NBA. Let's take that out. Let's take that out of the equation. One of the best basketball players ever. Southern California's own Mr. Schea Cotton. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me. How's everything going?
Man, it's going, man, due to the circumstances, man. Just trying to, take it day by day, man. I want to thank you, man, for definitely coming on the show, man, and talking a little bit about your story, man. It really means a lot to me.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. This is more important at this point, especially in the state of our country. I think the awareness and the insight from my documentary that's released on the 23rd of this month. Since then, it's been just a great rapport. The reception has been great. We want to just keep rolling it out. Encouraging people to like, share, comment, and let's keep moving the chains.
Right. And, like I said, I know you got a lot going on, man, especially with Man-Child coming out, man. And we'll definitely talk about that in a few minutes. But first, man, how have you been holding up, man, with this whole COVID-19 thing?
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. I had a lot of deaths recently in the last couple of years. My father passed during the completion of the film, so that's been a huge driving force. And I'm so thankful that, it's available now after 4 years. But, in this time, I find myself spending more time in prayer, even in meditation, just quiet time alone, and just staying busy helping others, making sure that I'm remaining accountable every day, showing up to my obligations within my time management chart that I set forth day in and day out, and just focusing on doing things with the right intention and doing it really well.
All right, that's good stuff, man. Hey, Schea, I want to go back, man, to growing up in Southern California, man. When did you know you had a gift with the basketball?
Great question. I think right around 11 years old, I started playing baseball, basketball. It just kind of was one of those things. I gravitated to it. I was bored with baseball. I needed something more challenging. Picked the rock up around 11, started in the park, Peck Park in San Pedro in the LA Harbor area, and just gravitated and took off pretty quick. I had a lot of success, had a natural feel for the game. I loved the interaction and the competitive side of it. So I dove into it. I gave everything I had. And it emerged pretty quickly. By 12, 13 years old, I was a national figure on ESPN's Classic Sports America and Sun-Kissed Kids. So at that point, not just being, known in your whole state of California, which is big in itself next to Texas, but nationally, at that point, things started to get kind of crazy. Interested, endorsement companies, agents, people handlers, a lot of grown adults approached me with opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people, if you're a basketball aficionado and you don't know who Schea Cotton is, then you're not a basketball aficionado. But you were LeBron James before LeBron James.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. I think LeBron is great. I love what he's doing as an ambassador. Social injustices and things he's taking a stand for. So I commend him in his pursuit. We definitely need change, and we need it now. Long overdue. That's a whole nother conversation. We're talking almost 450 years of oppression. So. For me to be compared to a guy like that, with him being considered to be the best now in the game, it's a compliment, and I welcome the conversation.
Now, you were fortunate enough to see LeBron James in high school, man. Can you look back at LeBron James coming up in high school and say, you know what, I experienced the same thing?
Absolutely. I think it may have been a little bit more stringent for me because it was a different time. This was pre-social media, and I was the biggest thing in my city in LA, Tinseltown with Hollywood, where you discovered, in high school at 15 years old, I'm bigger than any other college players, with the exception of Magic Johnson for the Lakers in the Showtime era. So I think God blessed me with a gift to play the game of basketball, and now He's blessed me with the gift of explaining it, and breaking things down from top to bottom. I think that's what separates my journey from most of my peers who maybe weren't as successful landing on their feet because at some point they quit on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Now you played against some well-known NBA guys, man. The Baron Davis, the Lamar Odom, Kobe Bryant, Ron Artest, man. What do you remember about those battles?
Just fierce competitors, guys that had the it factor. They were the best out of their area. You know, we were friends off the court. You know, we developed bonds, lifelong bonds. I still communicate with these guys today. Metas in the documentary, obviously, and various other guys, Elton Brand as well, just to name a couple of New York guys. You know, for me, it was about the competitive side. I wasn't playing for the attention. I wasn't playing for like the gear and all that. It was great to get it. I think my talent warranted. I worked really hard to be in that position, and I rose to the occasion every night. So that for me, I was playing for something different. I had a chip on my shoulder coming out of the West. A lot of the writers at that time were East Coast dominant, and really had to prove myself on both coasts and show them that, you know, guys from LA can go too, and you know, I'm going to put us on the map by myself. That was my mentality.
Well, was there a certain player growing up that you looked at and was like, you know what, this is the guy I want to pattern my game after?
Yeah, I think in high school, you know, with the likes of guys like Ed O'Bannon, when he was at Artesia, he was a McDonald's All-American, Dapper Dan All-American at that time. That when the Dapper Dan Classic was around, he had all the national accolades. John Wooden Player of the Year, all those things. Went to UCLA, had a great career, played in the NBA, obviously with the New Jersey Nets. He was a guy that I clinged to because we would train together. You know, my AAU team, my shooting coach, Des Flood, rest in peace. He was a University of Iowa shooting coach for some time. Coach B.J. Armstrong really was instrumental in his shooting career as a pro as well. So we all would train together. So Ed O'Bannon, there was guys like John Williams that I would play with at UCLA when I ran with Magic in the men's gym, upstairs on the court with all NBA guys, and I'm in high school, 15 years old. I want people to understand this, how big this is. Magic doesn't let nobody on the court. If you're not in the NBA number one, then you got to be handpicked. So when he was reaching out to me, when I'd walk into the gym and he'd scream, I got cotton, I knew I was on my way. I knew I had arrived. You know, it was exciting. It was something that was burning inside. I was thriving to show the world what I could do. You know, and I think I played with that type of energy as well.
Now, when you were in high school, man, and like I tell people this all the time, you were LeBron James before LeBron James. I mean, the Sports Illustrated, talks of going straight to the NBA. What type of, if you can think back to that time, man, in terms of the pressures, did you think you would be able to live up to that hype?
Yeah, I don't think it was a question of my talent. I think that the writers and people that knew talent knew what they were looking at. And when it was time to, you know, show up and show out, I did that on a consistent basis. You know, I understood the bullseye that was on my back. I understood what was at stake with the soft Nike deal without the money, you know, with the boatload of shoes and the gear and, you know, the sweatsuits, the whole deal. I was a walking billboard for them. It was basically like a rock star. My AAU team was like traveling rock band. You know, we all ran together. We did shows. We did concerts, you know. And so for me, that's how I looked at it. It was a business for me young, you know, and I didn't understand at that time, but I get it now. I'm in a position where I want to make sure this doesn't happen to any other kids across the country as well as global. That's why this Match Out documentary has been created. That's why we're blessed to be able to distribute it now. I fought for 4 years. It was done in 2016. We showed an LA Film Festival out of 4,200 films. We ranked top 5. I think we're worthy of an opportunity for the world to experience it.
Yeah, and I saw you grinding, man. I saw you on the grind every day. So you definitely deserve this platform, man.
Thank you.
Talk about, you know, college, man. You had a hell of a time with the NCAA in terms of becoming eligible, man. Just finding a spot to play on the college level when you were the best player in the country, man. Did that whole college experience or dealing with the NCAA mess with your psyche any?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it made you challenge yourself to see how bad you really want to play this game, you know. And I would have days when I just sit back and say, where did I go wrong? You know, what did I do to deserve this? You know, I try to bring good to the world and do for others. And when I was on top, I never turned a cheek to anybody else. I always, you know, treat the janitor like the president. I was raised right, worked hard. You know, I did my best to be forthright and upstanding with my pursuit. and things didn't work in my favor long-term professionally the way I thought they would have. But look at the platform God has blessed me to be able to have today. I mean, so I can't look at my past as far as my pro career is concerned as a failure, because there was lessons in that was being learned to build me up to become the man of God that I'm today, so I could have a huge impact and make a bigger difference with these kids, so none of them have to go through these pitfalls. Right.
So, but you did end up playing at the University of Alabama. You were coming out to the East Coast. I'm on the East Coast right now. You were coming to NC State, which is
right.
I'm a diehard NC State fan. But when you didn't get that phone call, man, draft night, talk about, if you could talk about that, man, in terms of not getting that phone call of not being drafted.
Well, after the conversation I had with my agent at the time and a few NBA teams, they expressed interest that I'd be a late first round pick. So I felt like I was on my way. After that, me and my brother decided to go get some hot wings really quick. We returned home. My parents were there. My agent was there. My trainer was there. Myself and my brother. And after sitting through the first round of the draft, my name appearing on the board, Kenny Smith's talking about sleepers. They're mentioning to me and things like that. I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe there's still a shot. The first round goes by, name doesn't get called. I'm just like awestruck. I can't believe what's going on. Second round appears, go through mid-second round. I'm like steaming. I'm super frustrated. Like, this can't be life. The draft ends. I mean, you could have bought me for a penny, later for $1. It was like, what's my worth at this point? My body work, everything I put into the game. How could this happen? I'm arguably one of the top 3 best ever to come out of my city. How could this happen? So there was that experience. I walked around my neighborhood crying like a baby, probably did a couple laps. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't care who saw me. It was just like my world came crashing down all in a sequence of about 2 hours, from an elation to devastation. And from that point on, I said, well, it's time to go make money. I got to figure this out. I got to get it how I live it. I mean, because the way I was brought up was you face your adversity. You don't run from it. You don't make excuses. You got to show up. You come early, you stay late, you do whatever it takes, but you don't do it. You do it to the best of your ability. So my father taught me that, and my mother showed me, the humility aspect and how to be kind to people and staying grounded. So with that balance, with the work ethic, the tenacity, it was a lethal weapon. It didn't matter where I played at. So, it was unfortunate that I didn't get drafted, but I did play professionally after that for about 10 years. So I basically went wherever I could get a check, whoever was going to sign me where I could play, because I was basically living out of a duffel bag at that time, trying to find job security year in and year out, different country, different team. It's a grind internationally as well. So with that being said, after all of this being here, I mean, this is breathtaking what's going on right now. I mean, we've released, what is it today, the 25th, 26th? We reached on the 23rd. iTunes, we're top 10 on iTunes right now for Man-Child documentary. I mean, this was written. I think it was ordained, and I've assumed my responsibility. I think that's the difference today.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions I was going to ask you, man. Do you think this whole thing was meant to be for you, for your journey to be this way, man? Because if you look back on your journey, man, you played against the Kobe Bryants, the Ron Artest, Lamar Odom, and you had to settle for playing basketball in Europe. Did you play in the D League?
Yeah, briefly. I played with the Huntsville Flight out of college.
Yeah. So this was something that God meant for you to do.
Absolutely. I mean, I embraced the challenge, and I've accepted my role as a vessel. And I have peace in my heart, because I went through the dark days, difficult times in this 20-year period leading up to this point. I came back to my city, and they left me for dead. Some of my peers that I thought would have stepped up, they had the money maybe to give me a little provided push, left me bleeding out. So it developed a different level of hunger. I already had a chip on my shoulder when I played. Now it's like I put that on steroids as far as in my ambition and my work ethic.
Yeah. Before we dive into man-child, man, how did you get through those dark days?
Man, just diving into the word, giving myself to the Lord, staying really close to my parents, gleaming from my brother, staying close to the people that love me for me rather than the person that became known as the man-child in the city of Los Angeles. And, I think that's made all the difference in my life. It made me a better man through all this adversity. So I don't look at it like, oh, I wish I could have this time back. I would have did this, I would have did that. I would have did it all the same because I like the person that I'm becoming today. And, spiritually, I think I'm closer to my Creator, so it allows me to impact kids on a deeper level.
Okay, so it's here, man. Man-child is here. It's out right now. Talk about the vision, man. How was this born?
The vision was just it came to pass. I think when I was finishing up around 29 years old, my pro career, I ran across to my producer director, Eric Batar Herbert, for our True Group, which is the production company that did Man-Child, Long Beach-based company. He followed me. He was part of my fan club. Didn't even realize it all through high school. I mean, it was a crew of people from Long Beach that would travel around to wherever I was playing in tournaments and stuff, and they'd support me. And he met me in the laundromat. We had a conversation. He mentioned, "You think we need to do a story on my life? It could be really impactful, help a lot of people." At that time, I didn't really bite. I had an itch still burning, so I wanted to keep playing. I said, "Look, let's circle back in another year or two and see where we are." And we ran across each other's paths about a couple years later, and the timing was right. It's been 10 years since that point, a little bit north of that, actually. And I'm glad I took him up on that idea because it's the best thing we could have did. The reception is growing. I wanted to go all through North America as well as abroad. I think there's something in this for everyone, not just kids, but adults as well.
How much footage do you have? How far do you go back?
Oh man, I'm going back to like baseball years, like 10 years old. Okay. So, like baby pictures with the grill still coming in and everything, trying to get it together. So it's just an exciting time, man. I'm happy for my family. My father didn't die in vain. Without his footage that he shot, which we own, Man-Child wouldn't be what it is as far as the magnitude, because there's pixelated footage that we cleaned up from the time that, when I was playing. Obviously, the way things were shot, it wasn't high def like it is today, so it wasn't as clean, but that gives it that vintage, authentic feel. And, that's stuff that we talked about in the editing room, when we were putting the film together.
Mm-hmm. And I think Man-Child is very important, especially for young kids aspiring to be professional basketball players. And I appreciate you for, coming out with your story, man, because it shows the highs, it shows the lows, it shows that 1 minute you can be here and the next minute you can be here, but you always have to trust the process, man. And I really appreciate you for sharing your story, man. Not just for athletes, man, just for people in general.
Right, absolutely. I want to appeal to everybody. I mean, just the common Joe that doesn't know me, be interested maybe by hearing your podcast or, hearing an interview or seeing the trailer online somewhere, or just from all the traction. Maybe a friend of theirs is writing and raving about it after they watched it, and there's a curiosity. You want them to go purchase it. It's available not right now, but right now on iTunes, Amazon, and anywhere you can purchase movies.
What do you want people to get from this documentary?
Resilience of, the fortitude, just being professional and understanding that no matter what you're faced with, don't ever quit. And don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. My motto is believe in yourself when no one else does.
And I'm definitely gonna check it out, man, because I've seen your grind, man. When I first met you in 2010, man, it was like a breath of fresh air, man. I knew who you were, but it was just a blessing to meet someone such as yourself, man. And I've seen that grind ever since I met you back at the Pangos All-American camp, man. So, just keep pushing. I want to ask you a few other questions, man.
Okay.
Of this social climate that we're in right now. What do you think about, and you had dealings with the NCAA about players getting paid?
Right. I think the timing is right. For the guys, I think the commercialism and the corporate side of things, the way it is business-wise, it makes sense. There's been enough money that's been made off these guys' backs as well as myself, and there needs to be more of a balance. I mean, if they're putting people in the seats, there should be some kind of compensation package in place, whether it's through private sponsorship outside of the university, or there's some kind of fund that's set up for every student athlete on the team, or football, basketball, whatever the dominant sports are that's driving the capital, the financials for the school.
Now it seems a lot of African American athletes are speaking out about HBCUs versus PWIs. What are your take on that? Predominantly white.
If you're good, they're gonna find you. I mean, I grew up in the LA Harbor area. St. Peter wasn't a hotbed for talent for basketball. It was a hotbed for gangbanging and dope dealing. So, for me, it was just, what do you do? Excuse me 1 second. You there? Okay, got you.
Yes.
My apologies. That was my mother calling. But what do you do? Can you repeat that? I got sidetracked with that call.
In terms of American athletes, man, choosing between the HBCU and predominantly white institution, there's been a lot of talk about that now. And my thing is, I don't know if if everyone is just talking just to be talking, if they're blowing smoke, or they're really going to consider going to these HBCUs.
I mean, I would if I was a guy that had a better opportunity at a black college. At the end of the day, you're definitely going to be comfortable around your own people. At the end of the day, the community, they know what you come from, what you stand for. They can handle things maybe emotionally a lot better than some of these other institutions, because they're not coming out of these demographics, these impoverished communities in North America. So how can you relate? How can you understand? How can you, counsel them? You have to have somebody from that fabric in that equation in order to really impact them. So I understand the dynamic, and from my perspective, if you're good, they're going to find you. So whether it's HBCU, yeah. Whether it's there or an accredited Division I NC2A university, they're going to find you. At the end of the day, look at Ja Morant, Murray State. Who saw him? I mean, I watched him play. I knew he'd be special, but I don't think they saw what he's doing now. He had an opportunity and he took it and ran. So I welcome that for kids. That's up and coming. Challenge yourself. See if you can get it done.
Yeah, that's it, man. The world is in a crazy place right now, man. A lot of things going on. George Floyd, Colin Kaepernick, man. Those two names, man. Real quick, man. Say something about those two names.
My heart goes out to George Floyd's family. Seeing that on camera was just, watching the murder. It's like breath of life being taken out of you. But I'm not defeated. I'm driven. So I think, our community needs to focus on unity and love and kindness towards each other. Stop killing one another and looking down on each other, or having enviousness in their heart. Rather lend an ear. It help your fellow brother and sister. Let's make our country a better place, because we need it now more than ever. I mean, with this racial, socioeconomic divide, enough is enough, man. And we want to be invited to the table too. We don't want nothing anybody else has. We want everything to be fair across the playing field, and let's see where the chips fall. And I think that's what the Black community has been starving for. This is what we've been crying out for centuries, man. And now's the time for change.
Besides Man-Child, what else do you have going on?
Besides Man-Child, we got a lot going on. I do a lot of public speaking engagements and stuff. I'm actually working on something right now, potentially with Fisk University. Kenny Anderson, the head coach down there, is a friend of mine, so he's familiar with what I'm doing, and there's a potential opportunity for me to come talk to his team at their university, and maybe look into doing a run as far as like a tour, speaking engagements, and maybe showing the trailer and some other things for all the Black colleges, student athletes in that aspect, and making an impact there too, because I think that's an angle that people aren't really considering right now. And I can really speak to both sides, whether it's the major Division I's or the Black colleges or colleges in between. The bottom line is this: you put in what you get out. There's no shortcuts, and people need to understand you're only as good as your last game.
All right. Last thing, Schea, man. Biggest challenge in your life?
Facing myself in the mirror every day I wake up.
Hey, there's a lot of people.
You see that hat, right? Tell them to lock in. Tell them to lock in. We got the gear coming too, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find Manchild, your social media handles, or anything else you got going on. Let them know right now.
Man, all the gear you can purchase at therealmanchild.com. Therealmanchild.com. My social media handle at Schea Cotton, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find me. Find the doc though right now. Go to IG, Twitter, all of social media handles. Click the link in the bio. Enjoy the film. Post, like, comment. Appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yeah, everybody, you gotta see this story. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. And Schea, whenever you go down to Fisk, let me know. Kenny Anderson and I, man, we've been talking, man, and you know we become really cool, man. So he's coming back on the show in a couple of weeks. So
okay, sound good. Let's stay close.
I might come out there.
Absolutely, let's stay close. You know, and let's keep working through this. I appreciate the opportunity.
All good, man. This is Sports Talk with Playeragent3. My man Schea Cotton.